Boy, oh boy, do we got some news today. Also, pro tip, maybe when Twitter tells you to update your two-factor authentication from text to an authenticator app, you might want to listen to that. Hey guys, Nightfall here, and today we got a tiny little bombshell to talk about. But before we get into the juicy stuff, let's talk about more sheer incompetence or lies or whatever they call it, right from the horse's mouth. We got a patch yesterday that may have been the most useless patch I've ever seen a video game do in my entire lifetime playing video games. If you haven't heard or seen them, I suggest you either go watch my video from yesterday or go check out the patch notes on their official Twitter account for XDefiant. But they apparently left out the good stuff in that patch, which they added later on in a tweet. And this was the ranked updates that they promised us would come shortly, which I did mention in my video and was kind of shocked when I didn't see them in the patch notes. Well, they're here. But by the looks of it, they didn't actually do anything and just said that they did because people were calling them out for the lack of updates on this patch. And I say this because one of the three things they said they added was the ping cap of 125 ping. And you may notice throughout this gameplay in the background here, I frequently bring up the scoreboard, not because I give a damn about how I'm doing in the game, but because the person on the other team has 160-ish ping constantly. So whatever they did or said they didn't do jack. They did also bring in the updated RP ranges, so it's now 30 instead of 15, so you can matchmake with higher level people or lower level people anywhere within 30 ranks of where you're currently at. And they also added input priority, which I was pretty sure that we were told in a Discord post that I made a video about a while ago that this was already there, but apparently now they take your input into account when looking for a ranked game, but you still can't turn it on or off for ranked. Now that we covered that, let's get into the good stuff. Lately, I've been calling out the top streamers and top ranked players like Astonish and FaZe Sway for smurfing, among other things. They are blatantly breaking the rules and breaching terms of service with this game, and because they have bigger followings, no one seems to care, and now I'm being basically antagonized on social media. I've received anything from death threats on Discord to just overall nasty messages in my Twitter DMs from people from their communities, which speaks volumes of the people these streamers keep around. And they endorse this type of behavior, and I really believe that they do not care about this game's longevity. And after I found out what I'm about to show you, neither does Aches or Patrick Price. For those that don't know, Aches is a developer on XDefiant and known in the competitive FPS community by many people. And it's the exact reason why I called him out a couple weeks ago, saying that he's not fit to be in charge of anything on this game, let alone ranked. And this just might sway some more people's opinions. What I'm about to show you is a group chat that exists on Twitter, or X as some people call it. This group chat contains a lot of the top ranked players in XDefiant, including the two I previously mentioned, as well as Aches. And thanks to a source that's definitely not me hacking into one of their Twitter accounts, I've seen some pretty damning stuff in here. So here's just a little inkling of what's going on. They're openly saying things like they're going to go Smurf, and several times, including right here, you can see Aches just breeze right by it and not even address it, because he knows he can't say, sure, that's fine, because he knows it's against terms of service, but he also can't reply directly to it because that would be condoning it. So instead, he chooses to pretend like he doesn't see it. And this is just one small example of the corruption that's going on behind the scenes. There's so much more that ranges from playing on each other's accounts to actively discussing and posting links on where to get cheats and buy level 40 accounts so that they can play ranked on these accounts. Someone has even straight up asked Aches and tagged him in that group chat and asked, can we smurf? And he never responded. So while he isn't telling them yes, he also isn't telling them no, which is arguably worse because he knows it's happening and he's not putting a stop to it. And it's getting out of hand. Everyone's coming out of the woodwork and is smurfing now, and I don't know if they've been doing this or me calling people out is just having them do it out of spite now. Either way, it's causing people to not really even be able to get out of silver or gold lobbies or enjoy the game at all, because this is all they do now. And what they clearly can't see is that this is only making their main issue of not having enough people in these high ranks to be able to queue for a game, even worse. It's a vicious cycle. Does anybody remember when Ake said that ranked was for everyone?
And you know, we really believe that ranked is for everybody, right? Whether you're a bronze player or the best player in the world, you're always going to be matched against players of your skill level.
Guess we forgot about that. It's now only for the top tier players who want to continue playing, so they keep making or buying new accounts to do that. And by doing this, they end up in lower ranked lobbies, ruining people's experience and ultimately cause some people to leave the game. Oh, and don't forget they said this in one of their XD briefs.
And we're going to continue to keep banning anyone that wants to ruin the experience for other players.
And while this was in the context of talking about banning the cheaters, why shouldn't this apply to anyone like he says? So now I ask you, knowing this is happening and seeing the corruption that runs high enough up this chain, is this a game you really want to stick around and play much longer, or spend more money on cosmetics or battle passes? Something needs to be done about this, and if enough of us speak up about it on Twitter or in their Discord, they can't ignore or ban everyone. So if this is a game and you answered yes to that question, that you want to be able to enjoy it and play it the way that you want to without having to worry about things like cheaters and smurfs and all this other stuff and people just corrupting the leaderboards, you need to make yourself heard somewhere, or else the game will die and then they'll just move on to the next one and ruin that one as well. And that's why everyone is always saying things like there's no good games out, or there's no new games that we can play, because they all die out because of things like this. I've explained why smurfing is bad and inexcusable several times now, including making a whole video devoted to it. So if this is an issue you've dealt with in this game or any other game for that matter, let me know in the comments. Also, I'll be live this Friday at 8 p.m. here and on Twitch. If this is something you would want to come into chat and discuss openly, you can absolutely do that. I'm open to hearing all sides of this issue. Everyone's welcome, even if you don't agree with me about this whole smurfing and buying accounts and boosting accounts and all that. But also, if that wasn't enough, here's a screenshot of a game they were stacking as smurfs in. There was at least 2 or 3 of them. Does this look fun? How do you think the people on the other team felt? And they probably had no idea they were playing legend players on smurf accounts. They defend this type of behavior by saying things like they just want to play the game and give their audience content, but playing pubs isn't fun or competitive, and sitting in queues forever waiting for a game isn't good either. But honestly, they would get more competitive games in pubs than this. Someone left a comment to me recently and basically explained why smurfing is bad, and I couldn't agree more. They said it would be like if pro players in the NFL or the NBA went back to college, or even high school for that matter, depending on how good some of these players are, and just absolutely destroyed the other team. That's basically smurfing in a nutshell. So I've already heard Astonish's take on this after I called him out a few days ago on the whole smurfing thing, and he clearly does not care and won't be reasoned with. He thinks he's above the rules because he's a top ranked player and friends with Aches or something. So I tried a different route. I went to FaZe Sway's stream last night to try to have a civil conversation and just ask him why he smurfs and if he thinks it's okay for him to do that, and get a conversation going and see his thoughts on it, and maybe make him understand that this isn't healthy for the game and he's ultimately just contributing to the problem that he says he has with not being able to find games on his main account. But I quickly found out that wasn't going to happen because they all sit in a Discord voice chat together on stream. So what one thinks, they all think. It's like a hive mind. Can't have individual thoughts, and while trying to have a conversation, I was banned. After about 4 or 5 messages, which made no sense. I hadn't even said anything disrespectful, out of pocket, or broken any of his rules that he has, just banned because of a difference of opinion. I was quickly unbanned, but that's not even the point. I had more constructive discussion afterwards with a couple people in his chat than I did with him, and they throw my name around in this group chat like it's gonna hurt my feelings or something, but clearly they're just upset, or I'm under their skin over what I've been saying, because name calling me behind my back does no good. I'm just a nobody according to them, so why even pay me any mind? And not to throw more people into this drama, but since it's a public reply on a question that I tweeted, and anyone can see it if they looked, somebody who's not a nobody, Blame Truth, has said it's not cool of them that they're doing this. And the only difference between me and him and everyone else that has this opinion is I'm not afraid to push it and call people out. Not to say that he's necessarily afraid, he just has to think about a lot of other things, being that he's a much larger presence in the community than I am. Not to mention, Mark Rubin has apparently been on vacation or on leave of some sorts, and I truly hope that when he gets back, he sees all of this and real action is taken. Because if he comes back and nothing is done in the coming months about any of the smurfing issues or the stuff that I've just showed you, this game is officially cooked. It is beyond insanity, and it's time to expose the corruption and clean house. Let me know your thoughts and takes on all of this in the comments. I'll try to reply to everybody as I see them, and I'll catch you in the next one.